Hi, I'm Dr. O, and today I'm here with Lori and Raleigh, and we're going to take a look at some saddle fit issues because saddle fit is probably one of the biggest complaints that we hear all over. Everybody is always worried that their saddle is not fitting, and there's all kinds of new technology out there all the time that's going to help supposedly your saddle fit. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is Lori grabbed this horse as one of the students was getting ready to take it into a lesson. This isn't necessarily the way Lori would saddle this horse, but this is what one of the students thought was the proper way to saddle Raleigh. The first thing we're going to look at is how the cinch is not perpendicular. The saddle slid way back, and they did that, I'm sure, for the reason was they had heard a saddle fit lecture, and they slid the saddle back so that it was not bothering the motion of the scapula. The problem with this is when these students come out here, these saddles loosen up after a while, don't they? Okay, you know why that is? Gravity. Gravity. Because gravity tells us that things hang perpendicular. So as we ride Raleigh for a while, what is going to happen is gravity is going to pull that saddle, and pull it. And now, all of a sudden, you know, we're getting closer and closer to be perpendicular. But now, we can't move our shoulders. Okay? So, if we put our hand here, right under, and have you put your hand right here, okay? And we start to move this leg, you tell me when you feel it get tight as we move the leg forward.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, so if we put that down, right there, now stand out of the way, that's a full stride for Raleigh with, go ahead, move your hand. That's a full stride for Raleigh with this saddle on. He doesn't even like that. He wants to bring it back right away. So, how would you like to ride Raleigh if that's a full stride for him?
Yeah.
How well is he going to jump?
Not so well.
Not so well. Okay, so that's the full. And if we look, we've got all this padding on it. And so if we can look from, if we turn him to where we face away from the camera a little bit, one of the things that we'll notice with this, okay, is lateral instability. Okay? We have a lot of lateral instability because we have so much padding under this horse. So let's take a look and first off and see how we can correct this. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is take the saddle off. And we're just going to, we won't use the cinch for the rest of the time. And we're going to get rid of all this. And these all have, you know, they're all a reason for them. Now, in an ideal world, if our saddle fit perfect, and if Raleigh was perfectly symmetrical, what's the purpose for a saddle pad? To look pretty and keep the saddle clean. So in an ideal world, this is all we need for a saddle pad. Okay? Because the saddle fit perfect, Raleigh was symmetrical. So first thing we're going to do when we do our saddle fit is we want to check our saddle. We want to make sure that the tree's solid and not broken. We want to turn the saddle upside down. And we see, oh my gosh, it's all nice and symmetrical. Beautiful symmetrical saddle. Okay? So we're going to set that right down there for a minute. And we're going to grab a ruler. So we're going to grab this ruler, and it's a flexible ruler. They're available on our website. And we use these to trace the withers. So we're going to come 2 inches behind the scapula. And we're going to get us a tracing. That's what Raleigh looks like. Now, remember we had that nice symmetrical saddle? what do you notice right away?
He's not symmetrical.
Raleigh's not symmetrical. We've done over 300 of these now, and guess how many symmetrical horses we've found?
None.
0. But everybody wants to buy a symmetrical saddle, so that's why we have a saddle fit issue from the get-go. So now let's take a look and see if it's even close, because we can take our tracing and hold our saddle up and take a look and see, and we can get rid of that part there that's flexible, and we can see that this saddle will come close to fitting him. Okay, I'll show that to the camera there. Don't worry about this flexible part, we need to worry about the tree and make sure it fits into the thing, and it does. All right, so now let's take a look at another aspect. We're going to turn Raleigh around. All right, so what we can do, we got rid of everything, and now we're going to see how much shimming or how much padding does Raleigh actually need. And on this right side, we put the straight edge on his scapula and on the last rib, and on this right side, I can get 1.5 fingers. So about 1 inch of padding on this side. We go over to the other side, and we do the same thing, and we find that it's probably about the same on this side. I can get about 1.5 fingers over here. So about 1 inch. So let's see if we can't make a shim for that. Okay, so then what we did after we measured those was we took this chyro ryde pad and we made the shim size to be correct for Raleigh. So we put about 1 inch on each side. We put that on his back. And oh my gosh, we didn't take care of his high withers. But if we put this on there, do we have wither clearance? Okay. Put your hand here where we did before. Okay. Now, tell me as I move this leg forward when it starts to pinch. Okay. Now, back up a minute. So, that's a full stride now. Would you rather ride that horse than the one you did before? Okay. Put your hand in here again. Okay. Because there's a lot of space between the saddle and his shoulders now, isn't there? Okay, tell me when it starts to pinch if we ask him to turn, though. But is it getting smaller?
Yeah.
It's getting smaller. Imagine what would happen if that was actually touching your hand when you started.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to turn.
He wouldn't want to turn. And now you can go all the way there, and he's got some stiffness in his neck that's making him not want to turn, but the saddle's not causing him a saddle fit issue. So we took this one, now we have one pad, and look how much closer we are in the back. Remember how high we were before? Okay, now we're actually right down on his body. And all the weight of the rider is right here on his rib cage. It's not on his scapulas, not on his loin, it's on his rib cage. So in order to harmonize your horse's health, let's look at some saddle fit. It doesn't have to be complicated, but if we correctly put an interface, let's not call it a pad, let's call it an interface, because an interface allows two incompatible objects to work harmoniously together. What more incompatible than a saddle and a horse's back?
Yeah.
So let's use an interface to create harmony.